with that being said, I mean, you work with a lot of people in the scene, from Jay-Z on down. When you hear somebody like Jay-Z make a certain record talking about the aspect of the way people wear their clothes or the way the swag runs right, you think political, anybody in the political mind state would touch on that, being that it's Jay-Z saying it and Jay-Z so big?
This is what we do. We take our power and we go, okay, Jay's not a political figure, right? But at the end of the day, we have the power to galvanize people. Meaning, I can throw a show and I can get 50,000 people in one area at one time. So what did we do? Jay is now on a tour, going around the country doing free shows to register people to vote. You understand what I'm saying? So we know we can bring you all because you want to hear the music. So at the same time that you're hearing the music, before you leave, if you're not registered to vote in that area, we have all the paperwork here, register to vote. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, we're going to go out and we're going to endorse Obama, but at the end of the day, it's more about registering to vote and getting all the people together than trying to drive one candidate. That's why I think hip-hop has its power and where it can be used in a positive way to affect the people.
So, after this 4-year span, whoever gets in office, what do you think is going to happen to all these big hip-hop artists that are really breathing down people's throats to vote for Obama? What do you think is going to happen with them if, in fact, Obama doesn't win? Do you think that
if he doesn't win?
Yeah.
If Obama doesn't win, you will see our generation probably can't remember. Probably the last time that happened was the day Dr. King got shot. Where black people as a whole in this country, their mentality was just like, I can't take it no more. Because they looked at it like this man was the example of just everything that we wanted to be in our spiritual way, in our walk, in our talk. Even if you didn't agree with Dr. King, I don't agree with everything he said about nonviolence, but I look at that man as the example. So, for the country to shoot that man down, right? Now it's like, okay, he's the epitome of what I'm trying to be. What you think they're going to do to me? That's how the whole country was feeling. That's why you have riots. That's why you have places burnt down, North New Jersey, to this day, because that man was killed. If he don't win, you're going to see that same thing happen, and it's going to kill the morale of so many kids in this country that it's going to have a huge negative effect. Because it's going to make you feel like, well, maybe I can't be whatever I want to be. Because I've been telling my daughters that since they were born. You can be whatever you want to be. You understand what I'm saying? And now they can really do that.
So you think that the way of life, the way things are changing now is better?
I don't think the way of life itself is going to change. We have to make the way of life change. He's, like I said, he's a spark for it. But we ourselves have to make America change. We have to demand that. Nobody, no one man in history has ever changed history. It's no one man by himself. It's that man and the thousands of people that he affects standing behind him. KRS-One said it's the best. You take Dr. King and put him in the middle of Alabama by himself, stand on the street, he's crazy. He's just a dude sitting out there. But the fact that he, as a preacher, can get all these people together, and now we have thousands of people walking together, it makes a big difference. If he was standing on the steps of Washington by himself, it wouldn't make any difference. No one man does anything in history by himself. The people that support that man are really the people that move that movement. He's the figurehead, and you need a figurehead. You need somebody to stand up there and be the figurehead and say, we can look at this person as the example of this, but the people have to make the movement happen. When you get into really how America works, it's beyond racism. It's about money. Point blank and period, and power and control. You have certain families that have been in power and control of this country since its inception.
So would you say it's really money, power, and respect?
Yes, always. We on our level, yes, there's you're never going to change if a white person looks at you and says nigga or not. And nor should you really be concerned about that. What you need to be concerned about is the power that man that thinks like that has over your life. You understand what I'm saying? When he becomes a judge, then that's a serious problem. When that person is the leader of a community, then that becomes a serious problem. You see what I'm saying? It's not necessarily going to change all the minds of all these racist people, but what it does is it sparks us to be able to start moving, and that's all it takes is the people to have a movement.
Now, I just want, like, this is some of my last problems. I just want to know, as you being a leader in your community, what would you plan to do, and what would you have others to do to make bigger hands?
Education. At the root of it, This is the reason why when I watch The Wire, I consider that show one of the best pieces of work in the last, I'd say, 30 years. Because it addressed the problem of inner city life from a holistic standpoint. Because it's not just the drug dealers on the corner. It's not just education. It's all that together. You see what I'm saying? In one of those episodes, there was a guy who wanted to do research on the kids, and he was going to try to start with the 18-year-olds. And the cop was trying to tell him by 18, they too seasoned. You're not going to change that. You got to go all the way back to middle school or earlier. That's our problem, is that our kids, their education is lacking. If you go to our public schools, half the time the teacher is doing behavioral control and not teaching. And then the resources that they have won't allow them to keep up with the private schools. They don't have the same, still, they don't have the same computers, they don't have the same access, they don't have the same thing that everybody else has. It really starts with education, because then once we educate our kids, they're going to know, okay, instead of me hustling, I tell brothers all the time, you know how to swim? Go be a lifeguard. That's a $15 an hour job. Legally, you probably make just as much money as you make standing out here. Because by the end of the day, after you re-up, pay who you got to pay, you got maybe $300, $400. You out here risking your life. Every day, $300, $400. It's not worth it, but they see nothing else. You know, without education, you can't go anywhere. And that's what our kids are really lacking. We have an era. We used to say this all the time, crack babies, crack babies, crack babies. Well, now the crack babies are grown. You understand what I'm saying? They grown. Like, this is an era of kids that are raising kids. Around 86, 88, our communities got destroyed by one drug. And we had a lot of people being born into that. So the brothers that I go talk to and see, it's because of their household. You know, they come from, you know, the father's nowhere near. The mother gets high, and she gets high in the house. So where's this kid supposed to go? No place to go. He's going to go on the street. And it's not even about being fresh no more. I'm talking about money to eat. So he ain't even trying to buy clothes. You see what I'm saying? It's that real. If a normal person can't put gas in his car and can't pay his mortgage, and then, you know, the same drought that you see going on in corporate America, that drought is going on in the street. There's no coke games on it. So now we got murder. Now whoever has the coke, as soon as they let that be known that they got it, they get robbed. Or if there's no coke game, now we just straight running up in people's cribs. This is what I deal with every single day. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people in the black intellectual, you know, intellectual circle. Yeah, I live right in my hood. I took a 3-family house and put it all together. You know what I'm saying? I live catty corner from Mr. Baraka. Like, it's not a game. You can't change the hood, no matter how much people want to say that they can. You can't change the hood from outside the hood. You know why? Because you ain't never fed them kids, so they're not going to listen to you.